like the common misconception is that a person thinks that they have feelings of lust when in reality, um, it's that a demon has is monitoring them and plants an idea in their head, which they take as just like a lot of people think that's how the human mind works, is ideas come out of nowhere, when in reality, although that sounds like very plausible, that yeah, um throughout the day, like an idea will just pop into your head and lead you down a road of thoughts, basically, that you usually always go down. Um, but I don't think that's the case actually anymore. That was the way I thought of it my whole life. That was just literally my um, idea to how I think and maybe how other people think, but I hadn't really thought about it. Um, is that I thought that ideas just came into my head through, I guess my brain works without me at the helm of it, basically working it, thinking about things, um, like with my own free will. I thought that ideas came into my head out of nowhere, also. And as well as if you're like thinking and racking your brain about an idea of how to do something, and then like you come up with a new idea or something, like that's similar, except it's different because you're thinking about something, and then um, like your brain is intelligent and is able to think of something new, and then you've found something out on your own. Let's say you're doing a project in school, but that all, I think that gets like confused, and then people think that that's how the brain works, is that ideas get placed in your mind out of nowhere, like there's your consciousness, and then your brain also has the ability to put stuff into your head. And the thing is the coincidence is this, all these thoughts that, oh, something just got put in my head out of nowhere, it's always about lust. And it's never about, oh, I just got the idea of a new subject or a different thing. It's always just about lust. But I don't think people catch that. They think that, oh yeah, that always just like gets just, oh yeah, that popped into my head, you know? And it's very natural because it's your own mind, which is a place that everyone kind of lives in, you know? Except, yeah, they need to understand that it's a demon that plants the idea of lust. And then when you go through with it, which, if since demons are able to monitor people, it becomes pretty obvious to them that they just plant the idea. Minutes later, you'll probably go through with the act, and then yeah, and then you think that it was your idea to go through with lustful acts, when in reality it was an idea that was planted in your mind that you weren't thinking of. You were going about your your honest day, except a demon plants an idea of lust into your honest goings on of your day every day. And I when this idea has probably been told to me before, but I didn't really understand it. I thought they were kind of talking in terms of, I guess, an example or like some sort of a story, but like I'm speaking literally. Like, you could be in your room coming off of, let's say you get back from whatever you're doing during the day or your job, and you're tired, and you go to bed, and basically all your days go like that. And then while you're surfing your phone, basically the idea of lust comes up, and then you go through with it, and then that happens all the time, every day almost. And the thing is, people think that that was their own brain just, you know, offering that idea to them, when in reality, their mind is just their consciousness, you know, what they choose to think about. Ideas don't just pop out of nowhere unless you're thinking of how to solve an equation or you're thinking of ideas for an invention, let's say. So, yeah. And another thing is people will kind of also think, oh, it's because I'm lonely. Is that's why the idea of that, and like they use the physical like pleasure feelings of committing the act of masturbation. They use that as kind of like a helper mechanism to um, make them feel better if they're physically down or mentally down. But the thing is I think that potentially that feeling of being down and then down and bored, and then looking for something to do physically that would provide pleasure for yourself, just any way to provide pleasure, and then basically the human body, that there's only like one option. But basically what I'm trying to say is I think that when people are like conflating loneliness to the reason why they seek after lustful things, is because their mind on some level must be wanting for to be like in communication with the rest of the body of Christ. And if someone's not in communication with the body of Christ in some way, they're just kind of flying solo out there alone, just because they're not in communication with anybody who is understanding that like this is the way the world is, you know, everyone is going to stand before God and you have to be ready for that. It just becomes kind of a confusing world to live in, where people seek out pleasure where they can, and other than that, they just try to make sure that their needs are met, you know, physically and, you know, like the food, shelter, water type of thing. But yeah, so communing with the rest of the body of Christ is important, because there's no reason to not be. Like, the way you have to look at it is, despite how the world is kind of pitched towards you, being that you're basically on your own, and although there's comforting words of like solidarity in that everyone's in this together, like being a human being on planet Earth and stuff, and how people or governments try to spin things positively, everyone kind of, it shows that everyone's actual mentality is very like self-driven, basically, where they don't want communication. That's why a lot of people are lonely, because they have no reason to communicate with anyone else, because there's no afterlife for them. They don't believe in that because they've been deceived. So they're basically just doing what they want, what they wilt, unfortunately. And so they're lonely because of that. But the way that I just thought of looking at it is, speaking of the rest of the body of Christ, we're all going to be living in heaven together, God willing. And, you know, we're all a family, essentially, fully. So you want to be communicating with the other members of your family. You know, we all believe in the exact same thing. We're all doing the same thing on Earth every day, as everyone gets closer to when they step into eternity. So there's no reason to want to go radio silence on the rest of the body of Christ, which you can communicate with, and the rest of the world, there, the whole loneliness aspect only makes sense if, not loneliness, but the whole in it just for yourself aspect only makes sense for people who don't believe in God, who've been misled. So yeah, that was like a comforting, good thought that I had, where it's like, we are all in this together, all being God's children, and we're all his creation. So it gives good reason to, comfort one another, and, do work for the kingdom of God, because what nobody would want to be is lukewarm. And the way I've heard lukewarm being put around is someone who, I guess, the way I was thinking of it since I started doing videos, would be someone who doesn't want to make videos and their life doesn't reflect at all the reality of what their afterlife is going to be. Like, you want your life here on earth to reflect what's going to happen after you die, which is judgment for heaven or hell. So you don't want to live the lie that the world pushes on you, that there is no afterlife, and that they're not sure. It's up to you what you want to believe in. But we just believe in the Bible. That's reality. So yeah, we can comfort each other, and we can commune as the body of Christ. And I just want to make these videos because to me it feels like a way to pick up my cross every day. So I basically want to, put myself out there in the body of Christ, and just hopefully my thoughts can be relatable to everyone else. I'm sure someone else can agree that they've felt that when thinking of the world through the pitch that society really gives you about what life is, it's quite lonely, because there's no real incentive to have anything to do with anybody unless it affects your resources, really, except that's incorrect, which is good. There is great reason to have communication with the rest of the body of Christ, because we're all God's creation. All right, on to the next one.